So today is going to be a deep dive into everything that we're sowing in April 2025. I am so excited about this season. It's the first proper year in my new house. I bought my house last June, so I didn't have a proper gardening season when I came here. I managed to get a few things in the ground, but absolutely nothing compared to what I want to be doing or what the garden has potential for. So I've been planning like crazy with a spreadsheet as always. I'm going to run through exactly what I'm sowing in April. Oh, and I'm going to give you a seedling tour for everything that I've currently sown in February and March, what's germinated yet, what hasn't, some of which that I've literally planted today. Okay, this is my gardening spreadsheet. I had mentioned this in a previous video. I think the video where we redid the kind of garden for spring, and I have kind of planned this so to suit my growing area. I live in the UK, so it's quite a mild climate here. That being said, I've not done like a full garden before. I've only ever grown in containers and stuff like that. I've not done like the full season from start to finish. I've kind of dabbled in different areas and different seeds over the past few years, but not tried to do everything all at once. And this is the year that we're trying to do everything all at once. And side note, I was looking at chicken coops earlier because I am convinced now that I need to get some chickens. I'm at that point in my life, so I think I just need to accept it now and get the chickens. But that will involve another day doing jobs outside, building said chicken coop. And to be honest, that's the only thing that's putting me off right now. So we'll wait and see, but I'm convinced it's going to happen quite soon. So the first things on my list for April are some things that I plan on succession sowing throughout the year. So that includes lettuce and any leafy greens, rocket, cress, that kind of vibe, lamb's lettuce, etc, etc. All of those are they're very quick turnaround crops, and I also eat quite a lot of them. So I think by planting those every month or so, just like an extra container every month or so, I reckon that should kind of see us through until the end of summer. I'm also going to be doing radishes as well. I love having radishes with salad, and they're such an easy crop to grow. They're amazing in containers. They germinate really quickly, and it's a good one if you're a first-time gardener to get started on. Spinach as well. It's just so versatile and you can put it in literally everything. So I just think, why wouldn't you want that in the garden? I've been quite stressed around planning the garden this year, and it obviously should not be a stressful thing to do. Lo and behold, I've obviously made it stressful because I'm trying to be a control freak about it. So I've put myself in this situation, but I'm trying to focus on vegetables and fruits that I know that I'm going to eat. Some things look really cool and I want to grow everything, and I'm never going to be able to get a chance to grow everything. So I just need to concentrate on what's actually going to be useful, and I'll throw a few fun things in there. I've got a few fun varieties to try this season, which should be good. Next up, we've got beetroot. Now, this was one that I was toying with because I don't actually eat much beetroot. Beetroot was one of the things I was umming and ahhing about. However, again, they're such a quick turnaround crop that I just think it's not going to be taking up much room for long. And I do like having it roasted. That is one thing that it's super yummy. And the variety that I've got, which I actually just sowed the last seeds of it today, so I need to pick up some more, is the rainbow variety beetroot. So it's super pretty, and like all of the different colours, when you get the orange, the purple and the pink ones, they're just stunning, and I just think I couldn't not have it just because of how pretty it is. That's how my brain works. Spring onion is the last thing that I'm going to be succession sowing throughout the season because, again, it's such an easy thing to top things with. Salads, stir fries, etc, etc, and I eat a lot of spring onions, so I'm going to be starting my parsnips and my carrots in April as well, which should be exciting. But I'm going to pop those in around the edge of my onion and garlic bed, I think. I've read up that onion and garlic are really good companion plants for carrot and parsnip because the strong smell of them will deter the carrot root fly away. So fingers crossed that works, because that will be good. And all of those seeds that I've mentioned, I will be direct sowing into the ground with no covers or anything. They are pretty frost hardy crops, so they'll be fine in my climate. Next up is cucumbers, and cucumbers I will be starting in a seed tray, and then I'll transplant out later in the season, after the last frost in May, so probably around the second week of May or so. I love growing cucumbers. I grew cucumbers here last year, and again, because it was so late in the season when I moved into my new house, I planted the seeds directly into the ground, but they germinated and they grew, and I still managed to get probably between 5 or 6 cucumbers off one plant within the season. And to be honest, I was expecting nothing, so anything was a win. I've not 100% planned where I'm going to be putting everything in my garden this year. I have vague ideas, but I keep toying with different things, and then I keep deprioritizing certain things, prioritizing the chicken coop that doesn't yet exist, and thinking that I'm going to need to give up some garden space for the chicken coop. We will figure it out. It will all fit. There will be an abundance of food. I just need to figure it out. Worst case, there's always the driveway for some pots, is my thought process anyway, so fingers crossed. Next up on the list, we've got courgettes. Those I will be direct sowing outside, but I will pop like a cloche over the top. I've been saving some plastic bottles, and I'll just chop the bottoms off so that it creates like a mini greenhouse for the seed, so that it doesn't get damaged by slugs or caterpillars or anything like that whilst it's still growing and it's still small. I've done, again, a lot of research as to which plants like being direct sown as opposed to being transplanted, and which ones you can do both for, but perhaps direct sowing that seed may prefer. For example, corn, sunflowers, etc. I've heard that they can sometimes get a bit stunted when you are transplanting the seedlings out as opposed to just direct sowing. So I'm trying to do as much direct sowing as I can this year, just to make it easier in terms of time and also space, because I do not have a lot of indoor growing space for the seedlings. I'm already taking over the second bedroom. Yeah, it's not looking cute, but you've got to do what you've got to do. Then next up, I've got Monge 2 as well. I tried to find some sugar snap peas. I don't know why, I could not find any seeds anywhere for them. I don't know if that is just a me thing, or if it was the seed websites that I usually buy from. I usually buy from Budget Seeds, because they sell their seeds in like plain packaging, so you don't have the pictures on the front or the instructions on the back, but I don't see that as a problem for me. But their seeds are so cheap. It's crazy, because they're not paying for the packaging of their of the seeds basically. So I normally buy from there, as opposed to the garden centre, because I'm not even joking, it's literally between 40 to 50p for a seed packet. It's crazy. But anyways, couldn't find any sugar snap peas, so I went with Monge 2 instead, which is still yummy, and in my head essentially kind of the same thing, kind of. Anyway, so I will also be direct sowing those outside, but again under part of a plastic bottle, to create a mini greenhouse environment to protect the seedling whilst it's growing. Okay, next up is exciting, because I am starting practically all of my herbs in April. The only herbs I've started so far is basil. I only sowed those about 4 or 5 days ago, I'd say, so they've got some time yet. If only some of my herb seeds start, then I can just go to the garden centre and pick up some established plants already. But I just thought, let's just give it a go at trying them from seed. Some herb plants I've got already, and a lot of them, once I've sown them for this first year, they're perennials, so they should continue on to next year. So worst case, I don't mind going to the garden centre and getting some, but I just thought, let's give it a go. So we're going to be doing coriander, mint, thyme, dill, oregano, garlic chives, which in my opinion are so much better than regular chives, sage, parsley and rosemary. So I'm going to be putting all of my herbs in a tiered planter. Now that is going to fit in the greenhouse, so I think I'm just going to direct sow them into the tiered planter and keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. I'm also going to be growing some edible flowers as well. So I've got chamomile and borage for teas, etc. I've got calendula, echinacea. Echinacea literally saves me every single time I have a cold, so I can't wait to have that at home, grow it and hopefully dry some so that I can keep it over the winter. The only thing is, echinacea is a perennial and I'm not sure if it flowers in its first year or not. So because I'm growing it from seed, it may do, it may not. Again, if it doesn't grow from seed, I'll pick one up at the garden centre, but I just thought, let's try it because I love growing things from seed. It's so satisfying. But if not, we will move. And calendula I'm going to be popping in between all of my tomato plants as well, and I will probably keep some in the greenhouse with the peppers and the chilies as well.
Carrying on with the chili and the pepper theme, I am just up potting some of my chili and pepper seedlings that I sowed a couple of weeks ago now, if not 3 or 4 weeks ago, but they're growing on nicely, and yeah, they just need to move up onto bigger pots. After I have repotted all of these, I'm going to bring them inside and pop them in the spare bedroom under the new grow light. As I am up potting these, I'm making sure to build up the soil around the stem of the plant just to try and get rid of any lagginess within the seedlings to give them the best chance at growing as strong as they can. So you'll just see me here, I'm placing the seedling much further down than it was originally, and hopefully the bottom of the stem will start to kind of sprout some roots off. Okay, so now that we've finished up potting all of our plants for the day, I'm going to go ahead and prep these containers and drop them in the process. But I'm going to prep these containers for some lettuce, spinach, radish and some beetroot.
Okay, so the first lot of seedlings are downstairs in the kitchen. This is the nursery. This is the seedling nursery. Anything that needs to germinate is down here. So I do actually have a grow mat under here, but this is just like the perfect place. I can fit 6 seedling trays on here. The grow mat doesn't reach the whole way across the windowsill. However, I just switch the seedling trays around once some have started germinating. So first up here, we have some sweet peas, which I only had a handful of seeds left, and they were so old. I think I was supposed to sow them like 3 years ago. However, I've sowed them. We've got 4. This one is so tiny, but I sowed these for my mum because she wanted some sweet peas. So yeah, we've got 4 going, which is better than I thought we were going to end up having, to be honest. So hopefully they'll grow nice and strong. And then these I planted yesterday, so they obviously haven't germinated yet. But I've done, in this one, I've got some pak choi and some wong bok Chinese cabbage. I wasn't planning on planting these this year. However, I saw the seeds in my collection and I was like, let's just give it a go and see how we get on. I'm not expecting all of these to germinate. Whenever I plant in egg trays, the germination isn't amazing. I think it's because they dry out quicker than the seedling trays like these, but I ran out of seedling trays, so I've put my least important crops in these 2 egg trays pretty much. But we will get some germinate, just not all of them, and unfortunately I don't have a spare humidity dome to put them in, otherwise I would have done. But again, those are housing my pepper and chili plants because they are more important to me. Then just some regular cabbage in the next one. And then up here, I've got some leek. So I sowed these yesterday. Again, I sowed the majority of these on here yesterday, so they're still obviously not germinated. Got some celery in here as well, which again, obviously hasn't grown. And then in here, this is exciting, I've got some flowers actually. So in here, I've got my echinacea, some cornflower, which they sprouted in a matter of like 2 or 3 days. And then I've just noticed the little carnation growing, which is so cute. So fingers crossed on these. We'll see. It's my first time growing flowers from seed apart from chamomile. So yeah, it will be exciting to see. I really do want to get an echinacea plant, so if they don't germinate, then I will buy one from the garden centre. And then this one is the most exciting out of all of them. This is the tomatoes, which you'll see they've already started to germinate. So I sowed a couple of seeds in each cell because I thought I'm going to have to be up potting these anyway once they're a couple of weeks old, so I may as well just plant them in the same tray or the same cell. These ones towards the back here, they haven't germinated yet, but they are older seeds, so I'm not 100% surprised. We've got a teeny one coming down here. Oh, there is one growing here actually. So yeah, and I think this might be the start of one as well. Anyways, we'll see if they grow. If not, we do have a lot of the other ones growing. And these ones at the back, these are smaller cherry tomato kind of vibe varieties. And I actually didn't plant those for myself. I planted those for my dad and my granny because they like the smaller tomatoes. However, I don't really eat tomatoes raw myself in salads and stuff. I prefer using tomatoes in cooking. So that's why I've kind of gone with the majority of the bigger varieties, and also slicing tomatoes as well. But this is so exciting. I'm so excited for the San Marzanos. And then finally over here, we've got some kale. I've got 2 types of kale in here. I've got curly kale and I've also got Cavolo Nero as well at the back. Again, the curly kale seeds were some that I've had for a while, so I've just planted 3 pods of those because that's not my preference, but I thought we've got the seeds, so let's give it a go. And then finally in this one, we've got some broccoli, which is purple sprouting broccoli. I kind of like the idea of sprouting broccoli rather than the generic head of broccoli because you can just pick as it comes, and I personally find it much quicker and easier to cook with. I don't find myself buying the regular heads of broccoli. I prefer eating tender stem broccoli anyway. So I come down every morning and I have this spray bottle which has a very fine mist. So it's perfect for the seedlings when they're young. So I don't water them every single day, but I come down and I check them every single day, at least once, if not 3 or 4 times, because I'm literally obsessed with them, and check that their soil is moist, not necessarily soaking wet, but also not dry. But if there is moisture in there already, then I won't water them. Okay, so I'm in the second bedroom upstairs now, and this is where I keep all of my seedlings that I have potted up from the seedling tray into a bigger pot. So I've got 3 humidity domes, and these have all of my chilies and my peppers in it. So in this first one, this has all of my red habanero chilies and also some basil here. And in here is a loofah plant I'm trying to germinate. Seeds that I'm trying to germinate. They've been in there for quite a long time and they don't seem to be germinating, but I really want to grow some loofahs this year, so I have actually grown some more. So I potted all of these plants up yesterday and they were looking a bit laggy, so for the majority of them I've popped them quite far down into the pots. Some of the ones that I did first, I kind of didn't do that because I hadn't realised that might be a good idea. But yeah, so we've also got a Scotch bonnet in here, and I think that's it, Scotch bonnet and red habaneros. So yeah, those are all of my hotter chilies. And Elijah wants to be in the dome. He loves this second bedroom. And then in this second one along, I have a cat who would like to eat the plants. This has all of my sweeter peppers in. So I've got quite a lot of red Marsoni peppers. Those are new this year, new seeds, and they germinated really well. I've got this really sad looking Nirvana pepper, which was a really old seed, and I pulled the seed off the top because it was stuck on the top of the seedling. I don't think that one's going to survive, but thought we'd try, as that was the only one that germinated out of all of the ones that I grew from that variety. And then I have quite a few sweet banana peppers as well, which is exciting because, again, that is another new one for me. But again, I've heard, no, Elijah, quite good things about them. So I'm excited to see how they grow. It's not for kitties. You like your new spot, huh? This is also reason number 2 why I think having these in humidity domes up here is a good idea, as opposed to just having them kind of laid out on this trunk, because the cats would 100% get to them, wouldn't you? And they love this spot because obviously it gets the morning sun, so they're going to have to share now, but that's okay. This one at the end is a bit of a mix of peppers. So I've got all of my jalapenos in here, and then I've also got some extra red Marsoni peppers that didn't fit in the other tray. But these are looking quite good, so I'm happy with these. And then this down here is the other loofah that I mentioned that I sowed yesterday. I popped 3 seeds in there, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that they're going to grow, because it would be so fun to try and grow that. I literally just need one loofah plant, and that's enough. But I have visions of having a trellis in the garden and then growing over the top of it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. If not, I'll have to think of some other climbing plant to pop in there. But I just think growing loofahs would be so fun. I have actually ordered some grow lights to come in here, which they come on a clip. So I'm thinking of clipping it onto here and then having them over the top of the plants, because it's got 4 different lights that come off the same growing light essentially. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that will keep them nice and healthy as well. And I did think that next year I can use that growing light when it comes to starting seeds as well, to hopefully kind of start them off stronger and give them a good chance.
Thanks so much for watching, and please do not forget to let me know your garden plans for 2025 in the comments below.